folks. I hope everyone is doing great. We are Monday, 4th day of backtesting until profitable, 28th April, and we are going to look on price action during the Trump period. And as you all know, so far we've been doing backtesting until profitable as a season. So currently we are on day 4, and it will be a good time having you on board and see how I backtest and how I learn step by step as I advance into the field. So session 16 is the one with the Trump times, even though it's about to end. I guess I don't really know how to count the time spans of the sessions, but this is the one that we've been using. So here's GBP/JPY, and I have some other pairs as well: NAS 100, S&P 500, EU and GU. And well, I wanted to start with GU as we backtest, so hope you follow along and let's get into it. Great. So when we look at GU, we can see it was in some kind of downtrend. We are on the daily time frame, so we should mark our higher time frame levels, such as this fair value gap right here. It's a daily fair value gap coinciding with there's also this daily order block. So we have a daily fair value gap, and we have some liquidity levels such as this one and these relatively equal highs. We've got this, but this will be a level that we will reach in the future, in the very next to come future, like a month or two. So it's a good liquidity level, but it's like a swinging liquidity level, so that's why we will be considering this one much more. So GU isn't making some big moves, because when we can look here, we can see after making this drop move, it started some kind of consolidation, because we have this high and this high right here, which means it's in this zone currently, some higher time frame accumulation, but we can get a move off of that if we do a great analysis. So let's go to the 2 hour. Okay, let's first go to the 4 hour. On the 4 hour, we can notice that market had started dropping and potentially would give us a sell opportunity with this. And you might be wondering why sell. It's because we have a fair value gap and on order block area of interest to hit with some liquidity points right here. So that's why I would prefer selling, and one reason we would prefer selling in case we see some kind of pullback to this fair value gap right here, which coincides with this small breaker block, something like this. Then we go down to this daily fair value gap, and after this, that's when we will target to head for this buy side liquidity right here. So this will be my anticipation on GU on the 4 hour time frame. So let's mark up this level as well. So it's a 4 hour fair value gap. Great. And we also have an inverse fair value gap here, which might also be a good pullback zone. So we will also keep that in mind. Let's go to the 2 hour. So what time are we? It's Monday at 11, which means it's almost the PM session in New York. So let's see how this one moves. Looks like it's going higher. let's see if we can get a trade in this PM session. Let's go to the 1 hour. You can see that we are reacting off an inverse fair value gap and an order block also, which can make a strong confluence. So let's see when is lunch hour to end. You can see that it will try to push maybe in the next day at 3, at 2, when the London session opens. Right here, let's mark the important times. So we can have Tuesday at 8:30. Let's go to 30 minutes. Sorry, 30 minutes. We can go to 8:30 right here. Sorry, and okay, let's mark up 2 and 9:30. Actually, 9:30 exactly. So look for a trade heading to this fair value gap, and then the next trade we would look for would be a trade heading lower. So let's play this and see. Before we reach into the session, London session, what market was actually doing. Okay, started running higher, creating a small fair value gap. We can see it better. The 15 maybe. Let's see if we can have an entry off of this. Okay. Alright, you can see it trying to drop. By the way, because of the speed, it looks like the market is really volatile. I'm liking that. And it heads lower. Great. You can see we have a fair value gap right here. This one. Which might help us to push higher. Actually, let's see if we tap into it. So it was tapped into, and was it respected? I don't think so. By the start of New York session, the fair value gap wasn't respected, and market dropped as crazy at that time. You can see this. Damn. Let's go to the time frame and see what exactly happened. I really suspect that this day had some news. As you can see, it was 7th Feb 2017. Alright, so let's go to Forex Factory and have a sneak peek of what was happening. So 7th Feb 07 2017. Apply settings. Right, so you can see in the morning we had these Euro news, but are they the ones that would have caused all of that? I mean, suspicious. 7th February, wasn't it? Yeah, that would be crazy, because this would be 3, then 3 plus 6 to reach totals on this 9, and 9 had this German industrial production. Right, so validated setup, no buys on GU. So this will be the time where you sit on your hands and don't take a trade that's not in your plan. So let's see how the start of New York will affect our trade. So let's see which level is this market actually reacting to. You can see we have some fair value gaps in here, but are they the ones that will make the market to change its mind and go higher? Let's see. But what we know is that we have a level lower which has to be tapped into before we even go higher, because overall, we got the daily time frame. We can see that after reaching this level, we have a potential of taking out the buy side that's above, and after that we'll maybe look to go low and target this one right here. Let's play and see. happens on the start of New York. So trend higher and higher, creating a reversal. Let's see if there were any news due at the start of New York. Oh, we had closed it, so let's filter again. So February 7th, 2017. So by the start of New York session, we had the car trade balance and USD trade balance. So the news has already happened, and let's see what will happen next. Retracement of every gap will make us enter into this market. Fair value gap retracement, any small minor fair value gap retracement, we enter for a buy. Do we see a strong one? Not just yet. Maybe into this one would be a good time to buy, but these ones right here, I really suspect them a bit. Alright, so maybe this rate as we enter into this one would be a good time to buy, but it's way too large, so let's track it up on the 15 minute. So you can see on the 15 minute actually it's a small order block right here, and it will be a good entry zone so that we can touch this higher time frame POI. So our trade would look something like this, but I don't really have good feelings about this trade because, okay, well, we say that we shouldn't trade off of our emotions, so I shouldn't actually say feelings. Maybe let's at least wait for this level to be tapped in instead. Okay, setup and validated, and we start a new day. Great. So we won't be needing this and this, but we'll see at 2 the next day, that's Wednesday, right? And at 9:30 what happens. So this is just basically training the eyes to see what happens at different times and how to spot the important POIs. So let's see how the next day, if the next day will give us an entry. Alright, so you can see that we're actually dropping. Okay, you can see a good liquidity generation right here. Are relatively equal lows right here, which means there's liquidity to sweep right here, and I'm very sure New York will be happy to take this out, the London low, the Asian low. So let's wait and see what happens. You can see it heading a bit lower, going higher, ranging. So okay, wait a bit, we can see accumulation in this Asian session, and we are seeing manipulation in the London session. So we will have a great distribution in New York as New York session starts, or this can also be a touch of sub pattern where market started to consolidate, then create a Julius swing, then head lower. So if we would have to trade, we would put the stop loss above the swing and then target somewhere in here to rebalance, into somewhere like here. Right, so let's see how it plays out before the start of New York. So let's see how the move goes. Nice. So this is where we would like to see if we would enter. Let's get the 5 minute now. After value gap retracement and we enter into the market, we target the recent equal lows and even lower, as however it will be possible. So we can see our accumulation right here, or the price was ranging, then created a Judas swing in the London session right here, and as soon as New York started, it started dropping a little bit. So we can look for a small fair value gap retracement right there, and we would enter. Okay, let's put our entry to be somewhere right here above this highs. Then we will target like 1 to 3 right here, because we have to rebalance and fill those fair value gaps that are below. And maybe this is where you think of taking partials after taking out these relatively equal lows. So maybe let's put it somewhere in here, and let's play the trade and see. Boom, stopped out. Then market continued down to go lower. That's crazy. Really crazy. His setup wasn't a nice one. We were stopped out right at the first candle. Exactly. And looks like market has no intentions of going lower, but I'm very sure since we have generated this liquidity, will go lower. Maybe the setup was wrong. We entered wrongly, but let's see if it reaches this level at least. Is it possible to hurry this up more than? Okay, we look restarted the new day, and we can see that New York did no big damage. I mean London, the start of London did no big damage right here. You can see that there was no big damage, and then at 3 it busted all of a sudden. Well, I'm not an expert in daylight savings time, so sometimes is it 2 or 3, but I know between February and September we have that's when daylight saving time actually occurs. So I think at this time it was 2, but maybe let's see how it goes. What did you notice here? What did we notice here? 3 hour. We can see our fair value gap has already been touched, our 4 hour fair value gap. That's really nice. I mean, we had an overall nice bias, but yeah, we didn't take our trades in a good way, so that's what we should look to improve on. Have patience and look to take optimal trades going with your bias, not with what you are feeling or you are thinking. You should react to what the market is doing. Right, so we can see first we have entered our 4 hour fair value gap. Let's see how it goes further. So it has to enter it fully though. Small fair value gap retracement right here. So the 1 hour time frame, and then it drops even lower. Man, this is crazy. Let's look if we can find a trade in this PM session. 15 minutes. Great, so let's see. Oh yeah, we have liquidity points lower somewhere in here. So it was on Wednesday. We have some liquidity, some equal lows that weren't taken out, if you remember well. Have them right here, and we have some others right here actually. So we have 2 liquidity points. We have this one here. Let me remove these drawings. We have already started to see where our bias is going, so let's not put too much graffiti on the charts. Right, so let's zoom in a little bit and see how this goes on. So I'm liking to take trades on the 5 or 15 minute because I really don't want to do scalping again. I just want to do a day trade, a trade that will take maybe a trade that won't take more than a day actually, a trade that will take between 2 and 8 hours. Well, 2 is the minimum because sometimes you can find 4 consecutive candles that hit your TP. So let's get out of the rant. You can see a good fair value gap retracement right here. Good fair value gap retracement. You can see it right here, right here. So should you take another sell trade? Let's go for it. Sell trade will be placed after the touch of the fair value gap above the first candle. Let me target this. Okay, it doesn't want to drop and hit TP. I don't know why. We have a liquidity point right here. We have double bottom, so I really know that at a certain time we'll drop right there and take the liquidity point out. But before we do that, let's mark up the next day because we have already started Friday, so we can look for some entries on Friday and as that trade plays out as well. So this is 2. London session starts and 9:30. Where is it? Right here. Right, so let's play and see. Boom. You can see our liquidity point has already been hit. So it's a trade that took a bit long. Let me count the duration of the trade. So it took 14 hours. Well, it's still on the day, so I would actually like this setup. 14 hours and you get a good 2.6 risk to reward. So I guess marking liquidity points is one of the good things I always say in my series backtesting until I'm a profitable trader. But what I know is liquidity is what drives the market. Well, that's what the higher banks want to take, the liquidity. So you should spot the liquidity, or as the trading geek usually says, well, I don't trade his concepts, but I like his motivation and I like how he goes on with the market. So if you can spot the liquidity, then you are the liquidity. So you can see a good take profit here was hit. And let's see what market did in New York session, and probably will end with this video today. So after that, market continued making some very big price moves. Okay, before we continue, what do we notice right here? Generation of liquidity, relatively equal highs. You can see this right here. So what would we expect? Market to go higher again. I mean, this fair value gap wasn't filled nicely, and we also have a buy side right here. So can we expect market to go higher? Might be possible because we have a liquidity sweep. We have our shifting structure because we have some highs right here, some low highs which had a market shift, and we have a fair value gap which is being retested. So should we take an entry or shouldn't we? Well, let's look on the higher time frame. Let's take the bigger picture. 2 hour. Alright, so what do we see on the 2 hour? We can see that market is currently trying to fill this gap right here. And have we reached equilibrium yet? Well, moving from this high to this low, equilibrium is somewhere right here, and you can see this small candle has hit it, but it hasn't gone all the way inside. So we look for a sell or a buy, but we aren't sure. But since we aren't sure, we'll just sit and observe and learn. I wouldn't advise you to take a trade when you aren't sure about the circumstances. Maybe let's wait for what New York Open will be showing. So let's go to 15 minute now. Great, so good drop, very good drop. Then it goes higher again. So we actually have a second liquidity point lying down there. Maybe it will head for it, but now look at how holding this trade would look like. Now imagine that holding this trade would be a game changer. So, well, here it closed like 80%, then hold the 20%. You need to fight with your emotions. Let's now play it and see. Good drop, good drop. So in the end, you can see that it's trying to go higher and take out the liquidity points that are in the upside. So the reason I abstained from taking these trades is because we weren't sure where the market is actually heading. You can see it's going higher, then going lower again. So maybe I guess sitting on my hands was the right decision. So I think that was all for today's backtesting session, and we really learned much from this. Mark up your liquidity points. The second, be patient. The third, learn to take your trades at a good point. That's what I learned from this one. You might be wondering why. Well, sorry. I wanted the market to reach this level, but I wanted a full retracement to a fair value gap. So even though both will be losers, but one will be a better one, which means I shouldn't sit all day on my chart, but I can put alerts and other things to make me know when to take my entry and when it's a good time to enter. So I think that was all for today. Good backtesting session, and after watching this, go backtest, go invest in yourself too. And until we talk again, which is tomorrow, as I always say, since this is day 4, so until we talk again on day 5, be safe.